Welcome back to another episode of Blue Hen Outdoors Podcast. I am pleased to have with us tonight the man, the myth, the legend himself, the one of the masterminds behind Marsh Fest, Mr. Javi. How you doing tonight?
Wow, that was quite the intro. Good man. Thanks for having me on. I'm not sure if all that's true, but yeah, here we are. Stoked to be
Here we
here.
are, man. I'm so happy you were able to come on. I've heard a lot of highly good things about you from some people in the community. So I'm excited to have you on and talk some fly fishing and all that fun stuff.
Awesome, man. Here for it.
So let's start at the beginning. Where did you get your start in the outdoors as far as fishing? I see you do some wing shooting as well.
Yeah. So I was actually born and raised in the Republic of Panama. I did live in the States till I was 20.
Oh, okay.
Like my mom's side of the family, they're all American. I was just born and raised on there, as was my mom. My grandmother moved to Panama from Iowa in like the 40s. Worked for the canal, retired down there and everything. But yeah, my it was really my dad's older brother, who's like my second dad. He was, big into fishing, big into wing shooting and stuff, and pretty typical as kids. Like, although we grew up catching peacock bass and some blue water stuff down there, start with conventional, and I really didn't start fly fishing until I moved to the States. It was just one of those things that like always had kind of captivated me, but I was like, oh, that's just stuff you do up in the mountains and postcard type settings with waders and kind of stuff, and then.
Hmm.
Uh, One of my buddies, actually, my cousin who lives in Panama, fly fishes a lot, and then my other buddy. So my cousin's not an he's not an Instagram guy, but my other buddy, Ricardo, aka Tarpinist on Instagram, he's like, dude, what are you talking about? Like, you live in the mecca of redfish, and I'm like, what are you talking about? And so, anyways, that was back in like 2014, and that was it, man. The rest is history.
Awesome. What's your wing shooting background like? Is it ducks? Is it upland?
So in Panama, it was ducks. Ducks do migrate through Panama. Those that make it alive from all the duck hunters here. But yeah, no, here it's basically a lot of quail. I have a little Boykin Spaniel, and just like to work her. And honestly, it's like I feel like every year that passes, I shoot less and less and just work the dog more and more. It's just like the dog aspect of it is really what like I truly love. But yeah, but here in Northeast Florida, it's all like everywhere else, planted birds and all that. But it's a lot of fun, like we get out there at least 2 Saturdays a month during the season, and
Okay.
like fellowship in the woods.
Awesome. Do you do any cast and blast stuff for marsh hens at all?
I do like it's not something I pursue, which is kind of funny. It's like my boykin has never seen a marsh hen; she's only seen pheasants, chuckers, and quail. But like all the other guys here, like all like the historic coast guys, old marsh bum, like basically the whole group likes to get out for the cast and blast. Like my thing is if I'm in the grass, dude, like I'm chasing redfish. That's just kind of my thing. I mean, I'm not gonna turn down a cast and blast trip, but
Hmm.
I'd rather chase quail than marsh hen for sure.
On that note, I mean, a couple of the guys I've talked to and that you probably know are all a bunch of redfish guys around your area. Are you the same as for the redfish nut, or do you have a different fish you like to chase in Florida as well?
Dude, redfish. I mean, I think honestly, redfish. Like, I don't know who said this, but or many people have said. I think like if like maybe it's split palate. Like if redfish could jump, they'd be the perfect fly species, or maybe they are
Hmm.
or were the perfect fly species for him. But I just like redfish because like I mean like they behave differently, right? Like if it's flood tide season, they're going to tail in the grass, right? When the sun goes down for whatever reason, they start slurping, and that's just all their backs out of the water.
Hmm.
Switching flies, kind of understanding. Like I was listening to Atolis, and he's like, "Yeah, I don't fish black and purple," you know, kind of thing. So it's one of those things where it's like for me, it's like black and purple crab. Like it's just they're gonna eat it, right? And
uh,
then you swap to a gurgler or like anything else that floats top water type stuff, and then in the wintertime, man, they just have their whole backs out of the water, tailing in the low tide creeks or in the creeks during low tide, and you just can't beat it, man. Like it's just sight. It's like hunting at its finest, right?
oh
Um,
yeah,
so yeah,
and that's kind of one of the main things that's like me as a new fly angler myself
yeah,
was drawn to redfish, being a hunter myself.
right.
That primarily overfishing. Not saying that I like one over the other, but that's just kind of like how I roll. I turkey hunt in the spring, I hunt in the fall
Yeah,
and through the winter. That's just
right.
kind of most of the time I'm doing stuff. And then summertime, some of spring, some of early fall, I'm doing a little bit of fishing where I can get it in.
Exactly.
But
Yeah, it's fun, man. Because like you're up in Delaware, right?
yes, sir. Yes,
Yeah.
sir.
And so it's
We
kind of
have.
cool, man. Because like you guys have like the striper scene up there.
Hmm
That's just so cool.
Yeah, I was just gonna say we have the striper scene. Bluefish are pretty good on fly. I've heard. I haven't caught
Dude,
one yet.
that is honestly, I would. So my one of my good buddies, Joel Storr, he's an artist up in New York City, and I fish up there with him when I'm up there. And I've had my fair share of big bluefish chances up there. And I'll tell
Hmm
you what, man, they're so underrated that and I'm like 0 for 2000 with stripers. I just always seem to get there when it's like too warm. A couple Junes back, it was cool for being June, so I was like, shit, man, maybe they're still here. Whatever they weren't, or they
hmm
were probably just down below. They're just some days you just can't pass can't get past the blues, I guess, as I understand it.
Oh
But
yeah.
man, like I mean, we had a day where I don't even know, man. We had double digits, well into double digits of just like big blues to the boat, and it was like, dude, like I could do this all day.
Oh yeah.
You know,
Well, it's
find the
funny.
birds, blowing up bunker, and just throw the popper out there.
Oh yeah, and it's also funny because my in-laws they're from up in New Jersey, where and they live on the coast, so it's like
Yeah,
I can go right in the back bays there or go walk along the beaches and try to go hit them. But it was funny. We were up there for Fourth of July, and my father-in-law he lives back on a canal, like a back canal in one of the bays by Atlantic City.
yep,
And I was just like, oh, let me just throw my fly rod around in the back of his house. And I think I saw it was either a baby striper or a baby bluefish, but
yeah,
I didn't set right, and I missed him. I was like, oh, motherfucker.
yeah, yeah. It's like those blues are interesting because, like, obviously you need wire leader. I've been
Hmm
out there plenty of times where we didn't have wire, or we ran out of wire leader, so it's like just hoping for the best kind of thing. But man, like, I love bluefish. I lucked out in one a couple of years ago. At this point, I guess I don't know, man. It was a pretty big bluefish. It was well into like the I don't know. I would say like 34 inch. Like I mean, it was good size, and I was like, holy shit! Like these things pull hard, and they jump,
hmm
and like they do everything you want them to do. Like they're
hmm
fun.
But yeah, but it's also nice on top of having those two cool fish we have. I mean, and also some albies come down from up north as well. But
Yeah, yeah,
we're at the top. I said we're at the top of the redfish migration, so to speak,
correct.
as having Chesapeake and Delaware bays right beside me.
Yep, dude, it's interesting, man. Was it this past year or maybe last year? I've seen a couple like in Jamaica Bay, dude. People catching like big, giant black drum,
Oh
and I'm
yeah,
like, that thing was lost. You know?
oh yeah. Well, no, we have a couple black drum. Like I know
Really?
at least during turkey season, like towards the tail end when I'm getting done turkey hunting around here,
Yeah,
because Maryland and New Jersey have a little bit of a later season, so I kind of try to milk those as much as I can.
sure.
But no, I see guys catching black drum like as like late April, early May
That's awesome, man.
up
Yeah, and
here.
like
Oh yeah.
I don't know if you follow him or know who he is. His name is man, I believe he's like a nurse and he's also a guide. Something
Hmm.
safari somewhere other like in the Detroit area for the freshwater drum that they have in Lake Michigan. I don't know if you've seen him.
Hmm.
Dude, Dave Hurl. Dave Hurl.
I haven't seen him. I'll have to look him up, but I do know I'm aware of the freshwater drum up there around that way in the Great
Dude
Lakes
looks
region.
it looks so much fun. It's like I mean it's sight fishing.
Hmm And you
And
also
like a
got sorry to cut you off, but you also got I think they're all the same. One's just freshwater, one's just two are just
right,
saltwater in a sense.
correct. Yeah. And but it's interesting, man, because it's like they like eat the same flies, like the same
Hmm
patterns, they're just like lighter color. And I'm like, that's pretty rad.
Oh really?
Yeah, like every once in a while, like when he's posting flies or he has like a photo with like his fly box, I'm like zooming in there, like, what do these things eat? And sure enough, man, like same kind of shrimpy type patterns.
Hmm.
So
On that note, I know you mentioned you're a big black and purple guy. Is there any
yeah,
other colors or patterns you'd like to divulge that you like for redfish or any other fish that you like to go for?
yeah. I
Or
mean,
is
it's
like a
funny. I don't know.
go-to pattern?
Like, I don't know if I have something around laying around. Let me see. Like, usually, yeah, it's basically pretty standard, like shrimpy patterns. Like some, like if you can see that, but some like this, where it's like
Hmm
it's got legs on it. This is, I think, a size two, no, size four, maybe. You got your silly legs. Something like that just kind of just like bounces off the bottom. Um, I like those. And for whatever reason, I don't tie as much as I used to. Just 'cause I'm so busy with like kids and work and whatnot. So and
Hmm.
plus I have so many friends that tie that I just rather support them anyways, and tie much better flies than I'll even ever tie. But it's like
Hmm.
black and purple always seems to work. Like the little crab patterns.
Hmm.
And but all like olive and tan as well. All black works. Like really, just at the end of the day, it doesn't personally, I don't think it matters. It's just like usually there's more black and purple in my box than anything else.
I was gonna say because I've seen a lot. Either guys swear by the black and purple or they don't, and I was just
Yeah.
gonna try to pick your brain on like what you think is the whole big deal
Well,
with black and purple.
I don't know. Like I was just told that fish like black and purple, they see them better. I couldn't tell you, and whether it's like I'm not one of those where it's like it's like dark water, dark fly, dark water. Like I don't. For me, it's like look, I'm a firm believer that you basically go fishing when you can fish, and whatever's in the box is what's getting thrown, kind of thing. And then ultimately you'll get lucky if you're going to eat it. But then you know, you do have to switch it up, like because like if you catch fish from like the panhandle from the beach where you can see them, like like
Hmm.
surf fishing, then you're gonna want to absolutely switch to like a lighter color tans and whites and that kind of stuff. So I do believe in that, like kind of do match that kind of pattern if you're like on the panhandle type thing. Here in Northeast Florida, and call it like from St. Augustine to like Charleston, I'm going black and purple, probably like rust type colors, olives, rusty type colors, tans, like that kind of stuff. Also, I think like like in the winter, maybe like switch it up to like tan and maybe like some blue and some white for like some
Hmm.
blue crab type of colored patterns. Um, but yeah, that's kind of like it's. That said, in Louisiana though, in particular, in Louisiana, I will throw chartreuse and purple. So I have like a wall of fly of I don't know what you want to call it, Hall of Fame for flies or whatever. But this is basically what I throw in Louisiana.
Oh, okay.
It's just like a size like two odd purple and chartreuse,
Huh. That's cool.
and that's it. Like that, and I literally show up there with like four flies, and usually that's all I
That's
throw.
yeah. That's kind
You
of
know?
like almost opposite what I've seen a lot of guys throw up here for striper and bluefish. They do a lot of like chartreuse and pink or chartreuse and white
Yeah.
or pink and white. That's a lot of the big coloration up here. What?
What are you doing, dude? Oh, I
Oh,
got
you're
my son
good.
here. Are you
Does he
listening?
want to
All right,
come say
good.
hi?
Come say hi. Come here. Say hello to Mr. Hunter. This is
How's
little
it going,
Javi.
little hobby? Good. You like going out fishing with your dad, man? Yeah. What's your favorite thing about it?
Um, just the experience and catching the fish.
That's awesome. Do you have a favorite fish you like to catch with your dad?
Yeah, probably just
Oh,
redfish. I caught my first red. I caught my first redfish on a
that's
fly like a
awesome.
couple weeks ago.
Congratulations, man. That's
Yeah.
Yeah,
awesome. Oh
thank you.
yeah. It's funny. We were just talking. Me and your dad were just talking about redfish. So that's funny you said that. Well, it was good meeting you, little man. I don't want to hold you too much past if you're supposed to be in bed.
Bye.
Bye. Nice meeting you.
Say thank
Oh
you.
yeah,
Thank
for
you.
sure, man.
All right, go get in bed, dude.
There's no bedtime.
So, anyways, yeah, like I like Louisiana, like always, like I don't know, it's like chartreuse and purple just seems to always work, and it's like I've caught the biggest, like all my personal best. Two, I caught two fairly sizable bulls, and both of them were on the same fly kind of thing, like same fly pattern
Hmm.
I just showed you. So I'm like, hey, it ain't broke. I ain't
Oh
gonna
yeah,
fix
for
it.
sure.
You know?
On that note, you mentioned you've been up here a little bit around Jamaica Bay
Yeah.
area fishing. You've been to Louisiana.
Hmm.
What are some cool
Yep.
opportunities or fisheries you got to go experience from doing this, as far as the social media stuff? Before we dive into all that.
Yeah. I mean, I I love New York City, right? Like politics aside, I think it's a great place. Like I have a career in tech. My headquarters are there, so I work there a lot. And I just kind of like the idea that I can go sling tech, do my everyday job, get my all the different things you could do in the city, right? Like great restaurants, great bars, my office, blah blah blah, and then literally take a 45-minute ferry to Jamaica Bay, or sorry, up the Rockaways, and you can either run the beach or you can fish Jamaica
Hmm.
Bay. And then my buddy Joel has absolutely like one of the raddest homes right there in that Breezy Point
Hmm.
area. So like his like from his kitchen you can see the New York City skyline. So it's like for me it's like dude, you had a great day on the water, go back, have a couple of bourbons,
Hmm.
whatever, turn on the barbecue, and you have that like backlit, like this, the actual city skyline. And then I think, for me, like Louisiana is just one of those places where, like, you know, everyone that wants to basically chase bull reds in the fall and the winter, you got to go to Louisiana. They're there, right? And so that there's just not another place in the world where you're going to be that far from the mainland, see like a coyote that's 30 miles out that you have no idea how it
Hmm.
got there, right? And then just see these, massive 46-inch, 48-inch freaking bulls with their backs out of the water doing what redfish do. And it's like, and your knees start shaking, you have a 10 weight in your hand, like, and it's freaking blowing 20, it's freezing cold, like it's all those elements that go into Louisiana. It's like I freaking love
Oh yeah. Do you have any destinations or any fish you'd like to chase that you haven't yet? I mean, I know you guys got a lot of tarpon and bonefish down
it.
in South Florida, or if you have anything.
Yeah, there's a couple. Yeah, man, I have a few. Like, so the other thing I like to mention too is like I'm a big fan of guides. I don't try to like I don't have enough time between kids and my career and stuff to like try to DIY anything. So I'm just like, dude, like, so part of the reason why I continue going back to Louisiana is we built this relationship with this great group of guides, and we're on year 6 or something now, or 7. I don't even know. I can't keep up, but it's like those are people that have become friends. Like they're basically like family to us, and it's like I just look forward to that one week in November where I get that break, and it's like let's go see the homeboys and
Hmm.
you know uh, go sling some flies. But like the other thing too, it's like I don't know, like I'm a big fan of like, well, I don't think I told you, but like Hobby that was just on here. We are I don't even know, about a year and a half in. We're 9 months away from wrapping up
Oh
leukemia treatment,
wow.
which yeah, it's been rough. Thankfully he's doing really well, but it's like, you see all these like commercials on TV about childhood cancer and stuff, and then it hits you like at the household, and you're like, holy shit, like what are what's going on
Hmm.
here? So, anyways, thankfully everything is going well, but that's put like there's been a lot of places I've been wanting to go. So my buddy Chris Herrera, he's a guy down in Palm Coast. Him and Ernest Cisneros. Ernest is a guy down in the Laguna Madre in Texas. They do hosted trips down in Ascension Bay down in Mexico, and I've been wanting to do that for a long time. My brother's been going with them for years. And just as I was kind of planning on going for the first time, we got
Hmm.
diagnosis and all that. So that's kind of, I just can't be I can't be a 45-minute panga right away from the mainland and a 2-hour bus ride to
Right.
Cancun. I guess now you have a closer airport in Tulum, but so it's like I haven't been able to do a lot of that. But I think like being that I grew up like in the tropics, the jungle's always been like my favorite fishery at the end of the day, because there's just nothing better than like rolling tarpon, howler monkeys doing their thing in the background, caiman and crocs and all that stuff that live in the jungle and like in the rivers that we fish down there. Or for example, like peacock bass in the Panama Canal, that's like a
Hmm.
novelty fish. The tarpon that we chase in the jungle in Panama are actually on the Pacific side, so that's also a novelty tarpon because they go through the canal, go through
Oh
the spillway
wow.
and all that. So yeah, that's always really cool. And they're not big fish. They're like, 30 to 40 pound fish, but in my opinion, it's like fun size tarpon on
Oh
6 to 8
yeah.
weights, you know? And then you have like, machaca down there, which is another super underrated fish. And then, but I think like if I had like a magic wand, like if I could appear anywhere tomorrow to go fish, probably would be like, Chimane down in Bolivia. Like that's like my number one, like bucket list to go chase golden dorado and heli in, heli out kind of stuff. Like that just looks like
Oh
too much
yeah.
fun.
And those golden get huge too.
Oh, for sure, dude. But I just like the idea of like just kind of being out. I mean, because once
Oh
you're
yeah.
there, like you're out there. And man, like I don't know, man. Like it's ever since I started fly fishing, I'm like, man, that's my number one bucket list destination. So one of these days we'll
Oh
get down there.
yeah. What similarities, differences, if any, as far as like the fish in Florida and down in like Panama and places you've been down there? Like, as far as like tarpon and stuff, do you see similarities, any differences
Yeah,
when it comes to those two areas?
I mean, yeah, I think the similarities is like when tarpon are rolling, they're rolling. The problem is that here in the States, like if you're fishing for tarpon down in the Keys or like, like anyone in the state of Florida where like you can see like the strings coming at you and stuff, or like you see them daisy chaining, like it's sight fishing, you see where the tarpon is versus like in the jungle, like that water's
Hmm.
murky, right? And so the way we do it is basically like early in the morning. So the sun in Panama rises pretty early. So like by 5:30 in the morning, like you have light. So at that point, you're throwing like floating lines, you're throwing gurglers, and usually you can get them on a gurgler like just casting at the banks of the rivers. Um, but then, for example, like if you're in the Tarpon River that we fish when we're down there, uh, come mid morning, 10 o'clock when the sun gets a little high, they start going down deeper. So then you flip to intermediate or like sinking tip lines with like bait fish patterns. So you definitely need two rods rigged differently. You can't just be swapping out stuff because it just takes forever. And then it's just kind of one of those things. It's almost like being like in a horror movie because you just see them freaking like rolling everywhere and just like I think they're there. And so it's a lot of blind casting. And then inside the Panama Canal, they basically just roll. So it's like you just gotta like follow the roll and just blind
Hmm.
cast, like just blind cast your ass off. Be willing to do that for a whole day. But then the peacock bass, like I mean, those are things that are super easy to feed and they're always a lot of fun. There's also really, really big jacks in the Panama
Oh,
Canal.
really?
There's also there's giant ladyfish. I mean, like big fucking ladyfish, like
Hmm.
huge. There's those. You have Oscars. You have this thing called a guapote. I don't even know. It looks almost like a grouper, but it's not. So there's all sorts of like different species that you can chase inside the canal alone, which that I think is like super, super. What's the word I'm trying to find? It's like it's very like it's like you can't do that
Hmm.
anywhere else, right? Like in the world, you like fishing inside the Panama Canal, like you're casting a like rolling tarpon, you see manatee come by, and then there's like a post Panamax ship in front of you going by. So it's kind of cool. It's very unique. Unique was a word I'm
Oh, yeah.
trying to find.
Most definitely. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Well, so how did you get started with let's start with Marsh Sessions first.
yeah. So man, Mars Sessions just started as just like an idea. Like my minor in college was photography, and I've always liked kind of like street photography, candid kind
Hmm.
of stuff. And what I realized is that I had so much content of pre and post fishing, pre and post wing shooting. Like I don't have a lot of like grip and grin type photos and stuff. And then, but and so then I was like, well, Mars Sessions kind of sounds like a cool handle for Instagram or whatever. So I scored that. That was available. And then I was like on a trip I was on a flight, dude, to New York City. After I sat on the Instagram for I don't even know, like 9 months, almost a year. And I'm like, all right, here we go. I'm gonna upload 5 photos, tag some people, and I don't know, get 100 followers. Like, it's gonna be cool, whatever, right? But I always thought I was like, nobody wants to see this shit. Like, everybody's just supposed to see like what you
Hmm.
caught, whatever. And so, anyways, I guess it kind of took off, and then here we are. Like, so if you've ever looked through March session, like, there's not a single fish in there. There's no grip and grins, and then I kind of was trying to do something different, and I'm like, because my whole goal is just to be like community oriented at the end of the day, right? And we can get into March Fest later, but and so then I figured out, maybe do something different. So like, then I started doing like every Friday I drop like a Faces in the
Hmm.
Marsh. So it's like whether it's a guide, whether it's just an angler, whatever. So just kind of do that and just that's it, man. Like it's just kind of like doing that and just doing our part to build the community, like do community events, not just here in Jacksonville, but like down in St. Augustine, all the way to Charleston. Really anywhere that now that hobby's where he's at with his treatment, I have a little more flexibility to be able to, like even if it's like a day trip, I can still make day trips up to Georgia or like South
Oh, yeah.
Carolina.
What
Yeah.
yeah, because when I was looking through your Marsh Sessions page, I was like, whoa, all that's different. How
Yeah.
you like post just like you said, you highlight the guides and some people with the marsh. Uh,
Yeah.
and I was also surprised and shocked to see no grip and grins. I was like, whoa, that's a
Yeah.
culture shock in itself. I was like, that
Exactly.
a
Yeah.
that's what we need more of to help promote. Like, hey, we're not just these guys holding fish or holding dead birds or dead animals.
Right.
We're out here enjoying creation and the environments that we're in as well. And it's not just
A
that;
hundred
it's
percent.
about the outside things as well. And I feel like you
It is. And
capture
like
that very well.
I appreciate you saying that because like literally, I was like sweating. I was like, man, nobody's gonna want to see any of
Hmm.
this. But like, for example, like we all use this one ramp, like probably most and more than most other ramps around here. And it's like super secluded. You got live oaks and you got the Spanish moss hanging down from them. And it's just like a beautiful setting on the marsh. It's one of the like it's a pretty like raw ramp if you think about it. Like there's no concrete like outside of like the actual boat ramp itself. And like one of my favorite things to do is like, after a flood tide, like, in July, like when the sun sets at like, 8:30, 9 o'clock at night, we all hang out there till midnight on a Monday night. And it's awesome. Like, it's like, that's like my favorite part. Like, yeah, fishing is cool, catching fish is cool, but like just the hang out part at the ramp, that's like what really like I get fired up
Oh
about
yeah,
as
and it's
well.
also cool that you bring that to life in this sense. Is like, okay, we could sit and tell people that don't really understand or know about our understanding of it or how we
Yeah,
see it, but yet they're like, oh yeah, 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 and they might have their fixed opinion or they might change slightly, but for them to actually see it or see like still images of guys shooting the shit, putting the boat out,
that's
seeing the
it.
exact scenery that we go see as we're going out, I feel that draws all kinds of different, not just eyes, but positive attention from people that didn't really have that much positive things to say about stuff in the first place.
Yeah, 100%, man. No, you're literally spot on, man. Like that's kind of just like the goal. It's just to share that and like like there's nothing instant about the Instagram because like I may post things that is too like I posted a photo I think the other day of my Crawford that's I think a year and change old, or some photos are maybe 7 years old, whatever. Some stuff was from last week. If I thought it was cool, I don't know. Like I shoot a lot of film as well, so like anytime I get a roll of film back, I'm like, all right, cool. And then I'm working on a roll. I got one roll of film here going, and I don't know. This thing's probably the better part of 4 months old, but it's like I feel like some rolls of film I ripped through them pretty quick, and some man it's like man that was like 6 months in
Oh
the
yeah,
making, But it's cool because like I forget what's on it, and then I get my photos back and I'm like, oh man, that was awesome. That was, whatever at the Golden House Fly Fishing Festival in Georgia, or this was, you know, it doesn't matter, like, oh, last turkey season or whatever the
hmm
case may be. So I kind of look forward to that too. I kind of enjoy forgetting of photos I took. And then I'm like, cool, eventually I'll upload that,
oh
kind of
yeah.
thing.
Well, before we jump into Marsh session or not Marsh sessions, Marsh Fest. Sorry, they both got the same
Yeah.
Marsh.
Yeah. It's in March,
But
everything.
from we've talked a little bit before. A lot of guys speak very highly of you in the community, and some may say you're a pillar in that community and help build it to what it is now. What is your opinion on that, and what do you have to say as far as like being one of the guys in the fly fishing community down
Damn, that's crazy.
there?
To even think about, like, I appreciate that. Like, I don't think of myself as like the pillar in the community. It's just basically like, I'm a social person by nature. I don't have a problem, I guess, like making friends and just like because like I like you got to give a shit. It's kind of like my whole thing, right? And so like basically all this started. So we used to have a fly shop here called Black Fly Outfitters, which is owned by Von Cochran, right? And Von Cochran in itself is an absolute legend in the fly fishing world. He's a absolute like insanely good
Hmm.
artist. At one point he was like Jimmy Buffett's drummer,
Oh wow.
like, and he goes way back. Yeah, yeah. And so when Von used to own Black Fly Outfitters, they used to have this thing called the Flood Tide Festival. And like the first thing that kind of captured my attention to fly fishing around here when I started like, going to the ends of YouTube and Vimeo and just trying to figure out like how do we do this or how do they do this? How can I learn to do this? I just saw them fishing in the grass. I'm like, wait a second, what do you do? Like I see that grass every day when I cross the bridge and stuff. Like, how does
Hmm.
that work? How do you not get stuck up there? Like, how do you watch the tide? Like, what tide do you need to go? So, anyways, I started hanging out at the fly shop, like, just like grounds at a surf shop. I was like super fired up about fly fishing. And then they had this fly fishing festival, or sorry, the Flood Tide Festival. And it was the first time I experienced like the giant Sims truck was
Hmm.
there, and Paul Puckett was there with like the old Flood Tide van, and little by little, I'm like, man, this is really cool. And then they would do it again, do it again. Then I got to casting different rods and meeting people, I guess. And then uh, Vaughn closed Black Fly somewhere, I want to say in like the COVID time frame. And then Dave Workman, who owns Strike Zone Fishing, which is like the largest fishing store here in Jacksonville, he bought it and then turned it into Strike Zone Fly Fishing. But he does this giant tent sale every year. I mean, it's massive. And I guess they just didn't have the appetite to do the Flood Tide Festival again. So I was there at a fly tying night, And I didn't know Justin from Historic Coast Outfitters, and he happened to be launching Historic Coast that fall. And this was probably like in, I don't know, May or June timeframe. And we got to talking. Like, you know, he's one of those people where like I've been chatting with this guy on Instagram for like a year before I actually met him in person. And then we just hit it off. And I'm like, hey man, like I have this idea, like we should bring this Flood Tide Festival back. And then he was starting Historic Coast Outfitters. So we're like, why don't we like talk next week? So then we talked, and kind of the idea came to life. And then we were like, shoot, man, we need a space to do it. So my friend Lauren, her family owns North Carolina Outpost down in Ponte Vedra Beach, and they own like 3 acres on the Marsh, beautiful property. And they do a lot of like customer appreciation type things, chili cook-offs and stuff like on the property. So I reached out, I was like, Lauren, Justin and I have an idea. We just need a space. And we went there on a Wednesday, and they're like, we left with the date, somewhat of a plan, and we're like, fuck it, we're gonna do this, right? So, and then it was like, all right, Justin, you work your people, I work my connections, whatever. And then you call, make phone calls, I'll make phone calls, send out the Instagrams. And then we got to the point where we're like, all right, man, here it is. It was like October, whatever, 6th or something. And we're like, cool. If we get 100 vendors, like if we get like 10 vendors, one skiff company to show up, if that, and 100 people show up, we're going to be super stoked. And dude, we ended up with something like on the first go, it was like 47 vendors and something like 400 people rolled in there. It was like, what the hell? So then that was the fall Marsh Fest. Then we're like, well, we need beer and stuff. So I reached out to my buddies, Ty and Aaron and Mikey, who own Ink Factory Brewing. And I was like, hey, we're doing this event. Would you guys either donate beer or just sell us beer? Like, we're just trying to raise money at the end of the day for conservation. So they sold us some kegs at cost. And we're like, done, do it. So they showed up at the tent, started whatever, serving beer. And then like, that was in October. Like December rolls around and I get a text. They're like, hey man, can you come in for a marketing meeting? And I'm like, sure. So I went in there on a Monday for a marketing meeting. And they're like, we should do a Marsh Sessions beer. And I'm like, huh? I'm like, what? And they're like, yeah, like that festival was rad. And I'm like, well, I appreciate that, but I'm like, I don't know anything about beer. I just like drinking beer. And so anyways, so then that came to life. So then they do these parking lot takeovers at the brewery, where you get a permit from the city and they only get 4 a year. And I'm like, shit, yeah, let's do this. So it was like a smaller scale. I guess it ended up being dubbed Spring Marsh Fest. And I didn't like, I called Justin. I was like, I don't know what, like, it just is how it was released. So I'm like, it's not really a Marsh Fest. He's like, I don't care. And I'm like, well, I don't care either. So anyways, then we called it Spring Marsh Fest. And then, so we ran that one. Then that one was, I don't even know. That was like something like 500 people showed up that day, or the following spring. Then we did last fall's, which was the same concept, but instead what we did, we went down from 47 vendors to 35 vendors. Excuse me. And then we had 8 skiff companies show up, which is awesome. So we had like this little like mini skiff show around like in this like horseshoe of vendors. And then the vendor list grew. It was like Sean from After Work Fish Club came down from Charleston. Matt from Afuera Coffee came down as well. And, you know, like RCI Optics and like all these other bigger brands that we just like, damn, like this is great. And so we did that. And then last year was the second beer release. Last April was the second beer release. That thing had like something like 900 people show up to the brewery throughout the day. And so, yeah, man, like this, yeah, here we are. It's like, now it's a thing. And it's just great, man. Like this, like we got Marshware to come down from Charleston in April, that was really cool, because I was like, man, like we need bigger brands and, you know, people that aren't from, you know, just local. And sure enough, man, like it was just smile and dial and get to know people in the industry. And we've had a lot of really cool support. And then we won't announce it just yet, but we have Marsh Fest this year is not going to be in November, because the date that we were given was November 1st, and that is Florida, Georgia. If you're from Florida, or Georgia, Florida, if you're from Georgia, on November, and that's just not conducive. And it's the day after Halloween, so you know if you're a parent, you can't travel in. So what we're going to do is an oyster roast the weekend of January 23rd, but there's more to come on that. Justin and I were just speaking yesterday. We're meeting actually tomorrow to kind of finalize things before we go and post it. But it'll be a 2-day event.
It's funny you say that. I was talking to Justin last night on here about and he was kind of telling me about it. I was like, oh. Not that I haven't heard or seen anything about Marsh Fest. I mean, that's a really cool event that you guys do. And it's also, I'm trying to keep this as PG as possible, but it's badass that you guys have your own not just one but two beers you guys came out with, and kind of that also
Yeah,
the beer release turned into its own Marsh Fest. That's awesome.
it is, man. Yeah, dude. And like for me, like the beer release for me, like now I'm on a like now that I'm like my wife and I are parents to a child going through leukemia. We've gone through the vast majority of the treatment now and kind of have seen a lot just taking him to treatment and whatever. And there's just a lot of families that just don't have whether it's insurance or the funding, whatever you because it's not cheap, right? And so what we started doing last April is like now I'm like we're on a mission to like raise money for families that are going through this and how can we do like our little piece and give
Hmm.
back. So last year we raised just a little under $4,000 that we donated to the child life people here down in Wolfson's and the Moors. And so instead of donating money to like research, we donated money to a fund that goes into like a pub, like a grocery gift card, a gate gas station gift card. So like that parent doesn't have to worry about like, I need to fill my tank up. It's like here's $300 of gas. Like go do your
Hmm.
thing kind of thing. Um, but we have a lot of great organizations here, like Tom Coughlin, the old Jags coach. He's got the J Fund, which is amazing. I don't know if you're a football fan,
Big
but
football guy.
2 Sundays ago, awesome. So we love the Jags as well as college football. Last 2 Sundays ago, Josh Hines Allen invited Javi and us to this 41 for
Oh
all suite,
wow.
and I was super rad, man. And I'm like, I mean, like they had these like hydro. I guess he partnered with a hydro flask
Hmm.
coolers, and inside that cooler was like a signed jersey, was a hat, was like all these things. And I mean, like it's pretty cool, like
Uh-huh.
Lego set. And I'm like, hold on, like we don't raise a lot, like in the grand scheme of things, $4,000, while it's a lot of money, it doesn't really move the
Hmm.
needle much for like the big organizations. But I'm like, dude, if I can donate 4 grand to like the J Fund or to like a 41 for all to like Josh and Kate, like if that's going to stoke out a bunch of kids in that suite, like if that money goes towards getting a kid in that suite, making that kid's day, I'm like, sign
Hmm.
me up, right? So that those are so, anyways, and then so I don't know, like there's a lot more that I want to do with the Jags, and so I'm kind of working on that as well. But yeah, man, like it's like I'm like on a mission now, like on the spring event, like I want 100% of the raffle or winnings or whatever you want to call them to go towards families going through childhood
That's
leukemia.
awesome.
Yeah,
On that note, as far as future plans for March Fest and that kind of deal, aside from doing that great work you guys are trying to do with the Jags organization and whatnot, what other future plans do
yeah.
you guys have for March Fest and as far as that route?
Yeah, I think for us it's just like to grow it, but grow it at a scalable pace because at the end of the day, like Justin and I always laugh at this, like Justin he's a guy, he has other projects going like within the industry going on as well. Like he's got like 4 jobs, right? He's always up to something new and stuff, which is cool. Like I think he spent like a month at the Chandeleur Islands, like hosting trips over there, so that takes him away from his family and his kids.
Hmm.
I have my career in tech, which thankfully I work from home, but still, it's like after I sling tech, I got to pack orders, ship them, order more merch, that kind of stuff. And so I don't know, for us, it's just like grow it organically and just at a scalable pace. But I like there is growth that is there for us to do, but it's like I don't know, like there's always different ideas. So I think like once we release what we're doing this January, like that's one example of like here's a 2 day
Hmm.
event. It's not all fishing. Like we're so it's like like bird dogs. I think we can incorporate bird dogs into it, which we're going to do
Hmm.
this year. So yeah, there's a lot of cool things, and and I think as the word gets out and as we get to meet bigger and bigger companies, I think we can just do more things, right? So that's just kind of like the goal now. So yeah, just grow it at an organic and at a
Oh
scalable
yeah.
pace.
And from what Justin shared with me off camera last night, what you guys are cooking up for this year's
Yeah,
March Fest, I myself, I was I was
come on.
already wanting to try to come, but I'm like, okay, now I definitely want to come. I'm not gonna steal your guys' thunder or anything on here, but I'll let you guys announce it when it
Yeah, no,
happens.
I'm glad
But
he told you.
I will say
Yeah,
that is like those kind of ideas and stuff like that is like okay, that's something different as far as like anything I've seen is like an outdoor festival or just in that kind of category of things.
yeah. No, and that's dude. I really appreciate hearing that because like there are events that I want to go to that I haven't been like I had plans to go this year, but obviously as you know, I just had to put a lot of things on hold. But like the Bracho Pescador down in Port O'Connor,
Hmm.
Texas, they raised money for Rett syndrome. And I want to say this year was like Baracho number 14 or something. Now I've never been, but like if you just look at the Instagram and just like the people that go there and like I mean from all sorts of places, like people like my buddy Jared drives from Georgia, a few friends drive from South Carolina just to fish that tournament. But it's like just to be there, man, because like the vibe there seems like it's awesome. And it's kind of like what we're trying to do here as well. It's just build community around something and always have a purpose behind what we do. So it's like we raise money for conservation. We raised money for last year when Helene went through
Hmm.
Keaton Beach. There was a couple of guides that literally lost everything. So we raised money and donated the money to them. And wasn't a whole bunch of money, but like if it can help with whatever, like cool, man. Like we did what we could kind of thing. And so that's just it, man. It's just like it's more community building and the more of that we can do, the better everybody's gonna be, man. It's just a fun event. Like it's just like we just want it to be something everybody is basically gonna look forward to every year. And every year we have something like it like every year has gotten better. Like because dude, none of us have any kind of backgrounds in like event planning or any of that kind of stuff. We're like logistics. We're
Right.
just like fuck it, we're just gonna wing it. Like I remember one year, I think it was the first year, I was literally sleeping on my couch downstairs because like I came home late and I didn't want to wake anybody up. So I'm like, I'm gonna sleep. Like I'm gonna take a nap on the couch because I can be up at 5:30 and head down to the and start setting up everything. And Justin calls me. He's like, "You're not gonna believe this." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "One of the food trucks we had was at an RV boat parking place, so he had like like shore power." And some guy came and unplugged his stuff and to plug in whatever he was plugging in his boat or his RV. And the food truck owner showed up to like spoiled food.
Oh.
And we're like, whoa, dude. And I'm like, and then of course, like my wife, who does a lot with the PTA at school, they had a laundry list of like, food trucks that we use for school events. Everybody was busy. We're like, dude. So luckily the barbecue guy that we had came through, had extra pork butts and whatnot. But I'm like, it's those little things that you just like don't think about. And then you show up like, all right, it's game day. And you're like, oh shit, like something went
Right.
south. And so anyway, but like what I've learned, it's just like the sort of stop kind of worrying about stuff because you can't control what you can't control. But it's like at the end of the day, you're like you want everything to go off perfect, but it's like something's always going to
Hmm.
happen. So I don't know, but they're fun.
What on the point of community, what do you think, or how do you think music and art and fly fishing community all revolve around each other in the way that they do? Because there's instances where you see a lot of good writing and art influenced by fly fishing and vice versa.
Yeah, I they all go together, man, because like I think like first of all, like you can't do anything without music. Like if you don't like listen to music, like you have
Hmm.
a problem, right? And so now there's always a turtle box or five laying around. It seems so. It's like hey, put out some music stuff. That for one, I think goes hand in hand with anything you do. I mean, like live music, like I met Leon Madsen through Justin and Skinny Water Culture guys, and it's just fun. Like he played at Marsh Fest. He's coming back hopefully to play this year. If you can swing it, but like he's gotten big now. He's like, and so it's kind of cool to see his
Hmm.
growth, but it's also cool to see like, hey, like he's here playing live in front of you, that kind of stuff. We had Jake Skelton come last year. He plays with Paul Puckett up in Charleston and Banditos, I believe, is what their band's name. So it's like cool to have him come down and play some music. I think from an art perspective, like, dude, like who doesn't like wildlife art? Like, like we have like C. Ford Riley here, who's local to Jacksonville. If you haven't seen his stuff, it's amazing. My buddy Joel Storp in New York, like he works at Parsons School of Design, so it's really cool to see, like go on a trip with Joel, and then forget about certain things that happen on the trip, and then all of a sudden he posts that photo. I'm like, oh shit, that was that day on the skiff or whatever. Like, so that's pretty cool to see there. And I think like writing is just like, I mean, reading is cool, man. Like I enjoy reading. I feel like reading is something that is somewhat. I wouldn't say like we're losing reading, but I think like I personally work in AI, so it's like if I have an article that's like long where I have to read something, I'm like, I run it through AI. I'd be like, hey, can you just give me the bullet points real quick? Because I don't have time to read
Right.
this right now. So I'm trying to think that we're not heading in that direction, but like there are books like I don't know, like I like to read like David Coggins, for example, like The Optimist, The Believer. Like his books are cool because his books aren't as much as they're chapter books. You don't have to read them front to back. You can be like, yeah, I'm going to hop on this flight to the other day I was going to California for work and I read a few chapters in The Believer and I just pick and choose. Like what I like. I want to read about Spain. I want to read about Argentina. I want to read, and I like how his writing is not all about just fishing or whatever. It's like he goes to Buenos Aires and he has his go-to tailor that he goes and picks up 3
Hmm.
suits because he's just passing by. And it's like that kind of stuff that I kind of enjoy reading, not just like, yeah, we went out, slayed, flew home. Like, like I don't like there's more to just like the cultural aspect of
Hmm.
trips, right? Like it's like why do you go to Louisiana? Well, I like to go to Louisiana because like I like the food. Like I like the Cajun culture. Like it's cool. Like it's not all about just the
Oh
redfish,
yeah, for sure, man. As we get ready to wrap up here, and before I let you start throwing out your shameless
Yeah.
plugs and shout outs, I love asking. I mean, well, you've probably seen a couple of my episodes.
Yeah.
I love asking everybody this
Yeah.
question as we end it. What is your why that keeps you going, whether it be with the social media and Marsh Fest, fly fishing, roll it all together? I just like asking everybody what's their why that keeps them going.
The why that keeps me going, it's like because I feel like March sessions is basically something that I can do like I don't I don't know how you're saying like I don't have to like mentally be like, all right, I got to get my camera because we're going to March. It's like it's just part of what
Hmm.
goes, right? And I feel like it's one of those things where it's like if the lighting's good and if I have a film camera on me, that we're going to shoot film. If I have my digital camera, then we're shooting digital camera. Like and like I don't I try like I just don't force shots at the end of the day. Some days the camera doesn't even leave, the Pelican. It's just there. So I like so but I feel like documenting things on an organic basis really kind of keeps me going. And it's like it's my little piece of being part of the fly fishing industry. Like I said, like I have a career, so it's like working in the fly fishing is probably never gonna
Hmm.
happen, right? Like, is Marsh Sessions gonna grow to be the next, I don't know, larger brand apparel company? I'm not sure. And if it does, cool. And if it does, it doesn't, but like it's just for me, it's almost like an escape. Like I work in AI. I talk about AI all day. I talk about large data sets, and like it's comforting to me to be like, all right, man, it's 5:30. I hung it up. I'm gonna go pack a few orders, kind of, and just enjoy like that side of like it's a completely different thing than what I do every
Oh
single day
yeah, for sure.
for actual my day
Hmm.
job.
For sure, man.
So
Awesome. Well, do you have any plugs or shout outs you'd like to give out before we get out of here?
oh man, I hate doing these things. I feel like I'm gonna miss people, man. But I had kind of had a list going. All right, in no particular order, man. Like it's just I think honestly, like the first shout out's got to be to everyone. Like man, like the followers, the people who just support in general, man. Because I get it, dude. Like we're all busy and like I've had people like, oh man, I gotta miss March. I got a wedding. I'm like, no worries, dude. It's fine. Like there's always gonna be next year. There's gonna be so, but it's like I don't know, man. Like just like the whole community here is awesome. It's like the guys from HCO, man. Like Low Fish, uh, Adam from Local Rods, man. He makes badass rods up in Georgia. Jared from On the Fly Outfitters, the homies at Strike Zone Fly Fishing, Old City Fly Shop, Palomar Fishing, that provides all the leader material that we use. Afterwork Fish Club, dude, Magnolia Fly. Have you talked to
Yep.
him,
To,
Tavares?
I
Tavares
to
Bradley?
me and Tavares have something lined up. Yeah, I'm gonna come pick.
Hell yeah,
That's gonna be a fun one because I just can't wait to pick his brain about both black and red
yeah,
drum. So
yeah. No man, like that. The guy's so cool. Matt from Flat Coffee, dude. Like his coffee's amazing. North Dakota Outpost, man. Like we couldn't do a March Fest if it wasn't for them, down there in the fall. And yeah, man, Eat Factory Brewing. They're always, the homies there for the spring beer release. I don't know, man. I'm missing a whole bunch of people, so I'm just go ahead and apologize. But it's like it's the list is never ending. Like we'd be here all night, but no, it's just, dude. Like our community is so rad that, and the fact that it just keeps growing is like the best part of it. And it's like an extension of here because it's like we'll go to Georgia to their events. Was able to go to South Carolina in April. I want to go there more. I want to go to Seaweed this year that I'm actually like able to go to.
mhm.
And there's some other things, man. Like I got some other projects in the works. I'm really excited to hopefully unveil here soon. Can't talk about that right now, but there is one more bigger thing that Marsh Sessions has never done. I'm super excited about, but soon.
Awesome. We'll have to talk about that a little bit off camera if you want to. It's up to you.
Yeah,
But
yeah, for sure.
Javi, man, thank
Yeah,
you. I really appreciate your time. It was an awesome time having you on, man. Hopefully I can make the time and get down to Marsh Fest when you guys have it in January,
We'll do it, man.
right?
We're here. There's January, and there's always going to be the April beer release too, man. So if you want to, I heard one of your episodes, if you're going to come kill a turkey in Florida, I mean, April's not far from here. You know, we can
Well, it's fun.
come
It's
down.
funny because I want to do both. I want to go kill a turkey in Florida, and I've been invited to go teal and fulvous hunt in the Everglades in the wintertime. So it's
There you
like,
go.
so I can go
So
do
go there.
both.
Yeah, go there. Do both. Go down to the Glades, come back up, come to the January event, go home for a little bit, come back in April, get your turkey, get your beer
Oh
on.
yeah,
Yeah.
man. Definitely. I'll have to see if I can
Yeah.
swing it, but hopefully I can make it down at least one or two. If not both, one of
Awesome. I
them,
would love
yeah.
to have you.
But
Dude,
oh
we're
yeah.
here, man.
Thank
Come on.
you again, Javi. I appreciate the time. And thank you again, everybody, for tuning in to another episode of the Blue Hen Outdoors Podcast. Thank you.